Commander Jack Hayes rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the large view screen of the Earth exploration ship constellation. The stars looked the same as they had for the past 3 months of their deep space mission. The ship hummed quietly around him as the night shift crew worked at their stations. "Commander, you should get some rest," said Iris, the ship's AI. Her voice was calm and gentle. "You've been on the bridge for 16 hours straight." Jack sighed and stood up from his chair. "Maybe you're right, Iris. Wake me if anything changes." Of course, Commander." Jack walked toward the elevator when suddenly all the lights on the bridge turned red. Alarm sounds filled the air. "Commander," shouted Officer Ryan Miller from the sensor station. "Something just appeared on our scans. It's huge." Jack rushed back to his chair. "On screen. Now." The view screen changed to show empty space, then flickered as something massive began to take shape. At first, Jack thought it was a small moon or asteroid, but as the object fully materialized, he realized it was a ship. An alien ship bigger than anything humans had ever built. "All stations, alert status," Jack ordered, his heart racing. "Iris, what are we looking at?" "Unknown vessel," Iris replied. "It's approximately 27 times larger than the constellation. No match in our database." Lisa Carter, the ship's linguist, rushed onto the bridge, her long brown hair still messy from sleep. "Commander, we're getting a transmission. Lots of data. Unknown language." "Put it through speakers," Jack said. Strange sounds filled the bridge, clicks, whistles, and deep rumbling noises that made the deck vibrate beneath their feet. "Lisa, can you make sense of this?" Jack asked. Lisa plugged her tablet into the main console. "I'll try." "Iris, help me analyze these patterns." "Working on it," Iris responded. Science Officer Peter Morgan joined them, his face serious. "Sir, the alien vessel has deployed smaller craft. 4 of them, heading our way." "Weapons status?" Jack asked. "Defense systems ready," said Ryan. "But, Commander, if they wanted to destroy us, that big ship could have done it already." Jack nodded. "Good point. Let's not fire first. Keep defenses up but weapons locked." The bridge crew watched nervously as the 4 smaller alien ships surrounded the constellation. They were sleek, with strange blue lights pulsing along their hulls. "They're scanning us," Peter reported. "Very thorough scans. They're looking at everything from our hull composition to our life support systems." Lisa worked frantically at her station, her fingers flying over the controls. "Iris and I are making progress with the language. It's complex but has some mathematical patterns we can work with." Hours passed as the alien ships continued their silent watch. The crew grew more nervous with each passing minute. Finally, Lisa jumped up from her station. "Jack, I've got it," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. "At least part of it. They're calling themselves the Galactic Council. They're some kind of federation of different alien species." Jack moved to her station. "What do they want with us?" "That's the strange part," Lisa said, scrolling through the translation. "According to this, they've been watching humans for centuries. They have some kind of law or directive specifically about humanity." "What kind of directive?" Peter asked, joining them. Lisa pointed to a section of text. "It says the first law of the universe: don't touch the humans. They've been keeping their distance from Earth deliberately." Jack frowned. "If that's their law, then why are they here now, making contact?" "Let me see." Lisa continued reading. The translation. "Oh, the last part of the message says, 'We regret to inform you that the quarantine has been breached. The law has been broken.'" "Quarantine?" Jack repeated. "They've been quarantining us? From what?" Before anyone could answer, the ship shook violently. Red warning lights flashed across all stations. "We're being pulled toward the large ship," Ryan shouted. "Some kind of tractor beam." Jack grabbed the command console. "All engines, reverse. Thrust. Break us free." "Engines at maximum," Iris reported calmly. "No effect. The pulling force is too strong." "Another transmission coming in," Lisa said. "This one's been translated to English directly." A deep voice echoed through the bridge. "Human vessel, do not resist. For your safety and ours, you must be briefed on the situation. The Vrul have broken the first law. All human ships are being recalled to safe zones. Who are the Vrul? Jack demanded. And who gave you authority over human ships? The voice continued as if it hadn't heard him. Your vessel will be equipped with proper defenses and your crew will be given necessary information. The quarantine can no longer be maintained. The constellation continued its unstoppable journey toward the massive alien ship. As they drew closer, they could see that what they had thought was a single vessel was actually a massive space station, with hundreds of different ships docked along its surface. Look at them all, Peter whispered. So many different designs. They must be from different species. Commander, Ryan called out. I'm detecting other human ships being brought in as well, at least 3 of them. Jack stood up, straightening his uniform. Whatever's happening, we're about to get some answers. Lisa, keep working on those translations. Peter, gather all the data you can about that station. Ryan, try to contact the other human ships. The constellation passed through a shimmering energy field and into a massive docking bay. Other ships were already there, some human, others completely alien in design. Sir, Lisa said quietly, I've translated more of the original message. It says that something called the Vrul hegemony has been capturing humans from outer colonies. They're experimenting on them. Jack's face hardened. Why? What's so special about humans that we have our own universal law? Lisa looked up from her screen, her face pale. According to this, the first law was established after something called the Incident of Proxima. It says humans demonstrated unique abilities that frightened the rest of the galaxy. The ship settled gently onto the docking platform. Through the viewports, they could see strange alien beings of various shapes and sizes gathering, watching the human ship with what looked like curiosity and fear. Whatever's going on, Jack said to his crew, we're about to find out why the universe has been hiding from humanity, and why someone decided to break that rule. A new message appeared on the main screen in clear English. Commander Hayes, please prepare your diplomatic team. The Galactic Council awaits your presence. The future of humanity depends on what happens next. Ambassador Ella Wright had never imagined she would represent all of humanity to an alien council. Yet here she stood, in the center of an enormous chamber filled with creatures from across the galaxy. The room was shaped like a giant bowl, with thousands of seats rising up on all sides. Each section held different alien species, some with multiple limbs, others that seemed to float, and many that didn't look like they could survive in Earth's atmosphere. Captain Nick Daniels stood beside her, his hand resting near his weapon. He didn't trust these aliens, no matter how peaceful they claimed to be. Stay calm, Ella whispered to him. We need to understand what's happening before we do anything. A hush fell over the chamber as a tall, crystal-like being floated down from the highest tier. This creature glowed with soft blue light and made gentle chiming sounds as it moved. That's Zontar, the council elder, said their guide, a small green alien with 4 arms who had introduced himself as Keat. Very old, very wise. Zontar's species lives for thousands of years. The crystal being stopped in front of Ella and Nick. When it spoke, the words seemed to form directly in their minds. Human Ambassador, we welcome you to the first official meeting between our civilizations, Zontar said. For many thousands of years, the First Law has protected both you and the galaxy. Ella stepped forward. All her years of diplomatic training hadn't prepared her for this moment, but she kept her voice steady. Protected us from what? And why? Weren't we told about your existence? Humans have been exploring space for over a century. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Zontar's crystal body pulsed with brighter light as it responded. The law was established after the Incident of Proxima. Your species demonstrated unique abilities that concerned us. Nick leaned close to Ella's ear. They're afraid of us. Look at them. He was right. Many of the aliens were keeping their distance, watching the humans with what seemed like caution or fear. The Vrul hegemony has violated the law, Zontar continued. They have built secret bases in your solar systems, outer regions. They have taken human subjects for experiments. This cannot be allowed. Why not just enforce your law then? Ella asked. You clearly have more advanced technology than we do. Because, Zontar's lights dimmed, the Vrul believe they have found a way to use what makes humans dangerous. What happened at Proxima could happen again, but controlled by the Vrul. What exactly happened at Proxima? Ella demanded. We have a right to know about our own history. The chamber fell completely silent. Finally, Zontar responded. Your ancestors destroyed an advanced civilization with nothing but their minds. Nick and Ella exchanged shocked glances. That's impossible, Nick said. Humans don't have that kind of ability. A new alien stepped forward from a nearby section. This one looked more like a tall insect with shimmering wings and compound eyes. I am Zix, Council Historian, it said in a clicking voice. The events at Proxima occurred 827 of your Earth years ago. A small human colony ship, damaged and off course, arrived at Proxima B. The dominant species there, the Mox, attempted to capture the humans for study. Zix touched a control panel, and a hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed images of strange pyramid-shaped structures and tall, thin aliens with 4 arms. The Mox were technologically advanced but not peaceful, Zix continued. When they attacked the human ship, something unexpected happened. The humans, facing death, somehow generated a massive energy wave that destroyed all Mox technology within a 1,000-kilometer radius. The hologram showed a wave of light expanding outward from a small ship, engulfing the pyramids and larger vessels around it. The Mox civilization collapsed after this event, Zix said, and the council voted to establish the first law. For everyone's safety, humans would develop on their own, unaware of the wider galactic community, until they either developed this ability naturally or prove they could be trusted with such power. Ella tried to process this information. Are you saying humans are psychic? That's just science fiction on our world. Not all humans, Zontar clarified, and not consistently, but under extreme stress, your species can sometimes affect quantum fields with conscious thought. It appears to be a dormant ability in your neural structure. And the Vrul want to use this? Nick asked. Yes, Zontar confirmed. They believe they can amplify this ability in captured humans and use it as a weapon. They have already taken control of 3 small human outposts in your outer solar system. Another alien, this one looking like a large octopus in a fluid-filled container, moved forward. I am Admiral Un of the Council Defense Force, it said through a translator device. We have been monitoring Vrul activities. They have built a large research station on one of your moons of Saturn. They have approximately 300 human captives there. Nick's face hardened. Then we need to rescue them immediately. It's not that simple, Admiral Un replied. The Vrul have advanced shielding technology, and worse, they may be close to activating the human ability. If they succeed, they could use it against both you and us. Ella took a deep breath. So, what do you propose? Zontar floated closer. We must form an alliance. The Council will share defensive technology with Earth, and we must find the descendants of the Proxima survivors. Survivors? Ella asked. Yes, Zix said. 23 humans survived the Proxima incident. They were brought to Earth and their memories were altered, but their bloodlines might carry stronger versions of the ability. They might be the key to understanding how to control it. Nick turned to Ella. This is insane. They're asking us to believe humans have some kind of supernatural power. Not supernatural, Zontar corrected. Just beyond your current scientific understanding. Many species develop unusual abilities through evolution. Yours happens to be especially powerful. A loud alarm suddenly blared throughout the chamber. A large screen appeared, showing a fleet of sleek black ships moving toward what Ella recognized as Jupiter. The Vrul fleet is on the move, Admiral Un announced. They must have detected our gathering. Zontar turned to Ella and Nick. We have little time. Will humanity join with the Council to fight this threat? Or do you wish to face it alone? Ella looked at Nick, then back at the ancient crystal being. We need to contact Earth. Our leaders need to know what's happening. Of course, Zontar agreed, but know this, the Vrul will not wait. And if they succeed in weaponizing human abilities, no world in the galaxy will be safe. Ella watched the screen as more black ships appeared near Jupiter. She thought about the 300 human captives and the incredible story they had just been told. If any of it was true, humanity was about to face its greatest challenge and discover its greatest power. "Send our fastest ship to Earth with all this information," she told Nick. "Meanwhile, I want to learn everything the Council knows about these human abilities, and about the Vrul." Zontar's crystal body glowed with approval. "Wise decision, Ambassador Wright. The time for secrets is over. Now we must prepare for war." Dr. Alan Mason stared at the strange brain scans floating in the air above his lab table. The holographic images showed human brains next to various alien ones. There was something different about the human brains. A small area near the back that glowed bright blue in the scans. "It doesn't make any sense," he said to his research partner, Dr. Karen Wells. "According to these scans from the Council, humans are the only species with this neural structure." Karen leaned closer to the display. Her curly hair fell over her face as she studied the images. "It's like our brains have an extra processing area that other species don't have." The Vrul called it psionic potential, Alan said. He touched the controls to rotate the image. "But that's just a fancy word for something they don't understand." The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. General Olivia Ross walked in, her uniform crisp and her expression serious. She had been put in charge of Earth's response to the Vrul threat after Ambassador Wright's message reached home. "Please tell me you've got something, doctors," she said. "The Vrul have taken another colony ship near Saturn. 47 more people captured." Alan nodded grimly. "The Galactic Council was right to quarantine us, General. This part of the brain seems to activate only under extreme stress or danger. When it does, it can somehow affect the physical world around it." "You're saying humans have psychic powers?" Olivia asked. Her voice was doubtful. "Not exactly," Karen explained. She pointed to another set of scans. "It's more like our consciousness can influence quantum fields when we're pushed to our limits. The story of Proxima suggests our ancestors triggered some kind of chain reaction when they were under attack. And now the Vrul want to use this ability," Olivia said. "Worse," Alan replied. "They're trying to amplify it. Look at this." He brought up a new image, showing a human brain with strange metal devices attached to it. "The Council spies captured this from a Vrul lab. They're putting implants into the captives' brains to force this ability to activate." "How do we stop them?" Olivia asked. Alan's face was grim. "We need to find the Proxima survivors' descendants. The Council mentioned that 23 humans survived that incident. Those bloodlines might help us understand how to control this potential." Karen tapped on her tablet and pulled up a map of Earth. "We've been cross-referencing old records. The survivors were brought back to Earth over 800 years ago. Their memories were altered, but their DNA might still show traces of the ability." "Have you found any of them?" Olivia asked. "We think so," Karen said. "We've identified 12 families, with unusual genetic markers matching what the Council told us to look for. They're scattered across the world." Alan brought up another image. This one showed a teenage girl with long brown hair. "This is Lily Bennett. She lives in a small town in Colorado. According to our tests, she has the strongest genetic markers we've found so far." "Has she shown any abilities?" Olivia asked. "Not that we know of," Alan admitted. "But the Council said the ability usually only shows up under extreme stress or danger." "We are not putting civilians in danger to test a theory," Olivia said firmly. "We don't need to," Karen replied. "The Council has provided us with a device that can safely stimulate this part of the brain. If Lily and others like her consent to testing, we might be able to understand how this works without putting anyone at risk." Olivia considered this for a moment. "How soon can you begin?" "We can start tomorrow," Alan said. "We've already contacted the families. Most are willing to help, especially after learning about the Vrul threat." The room's emergency screen suddenly lit up with a flashing red alert. A voice came through the speakers. "General Ross to Command Center immediately. Vrul ships detected entering Earth orbit." Olivia rushed to the door. "Keep working. If the Vrul are here already, we're running out of time." After the general left, Alan and Karen looked at each other with worry. We need to move faster, Karen said. If the Vrul attack, I know, Alan replied. Let's call Lily Bennett's family now. Get them to our backup lab in the mountains. Lily Bennett looked out the window of the strange aircraft taking her family to a secret government facility. Just 3 days ago, she had been a normal high school student with normal problems. Now she was told she might have special abilities because her great-great-great-grandmother had been on a spaceship 800 years ago. Are you okay, honey? Her mother asked, squeezing her hand. Just weird, Lily said. All of this is weird. Her father looked up from the papers the government people had given him. The important thing is that we might be able to help. If these Vrul aliens really are capturing people. Lily nodded. She understood why they had to help, but it was still scary. The aircraft began to descend toward a flat area on a mountainside. As they got closer, part of the mountain seemed to open up, revealing a hidden entrance. Whoa, Lily whispered. Inside the mountain base, they were met by Dr. Alan Mason and Dr. Karen Wells. The scientist led them to a large room filled with strange equipment. Thank you for coming, Dr. Mason said. We know this is a lot to take in. Just tell us what you need from Lily, her father said protectively. Dr. Wells pointed to a comfortable-looking chair with a strange helmet above it. We'd like Lily to sit there. The helmet will scan her brain while we show her some images. It's completely safe. Will it hurt? Lily asked. Not at all, Dr. Wells assured her. You won't feel anything. Lily sat in the chair. The helmet lowered onto her head, light as a feather. She could barely feel it touching her. Now, Dr. Mason said, I'm going to show you some pictures. Just relax and look at them. A screen in front of Lily lit up. It showed calm scenes, mountains, beaches, forests. Then it switched to more intense images, storms, fires, floods. Your brain activity is increasing, Dr. Wells said, watching her monitors, but not in the area we're looking for. The images changed again. Now they showed people in danger, a child about to fall, a car about to crash. Suddenly, all the lights in. The room flickered. A small cup on Dr. Mason's desk slid a few inches to the left without anyone touching it. Did you see that? Dr. Mason whispered. Her psionic center just activated, Dr. Wells said excitedly. Just for a second, but it was definitely active. Lily hadn't noticed anything strange. What happened? Before anyone could answer, an alarm blared throughout the facility. A voice came over the speakers. All personnel, emergency protocol Alpha. V-Rule forces have breached Earth's defensive line. Repeat, V-Rule forces have breached Earth's defensive line. Dr. Mason rushed to a computer terminal. They've taken out 3 of the Council ships protecting Earth. They're heading straight for us. For us? Lily's mother asked in alarm. Why? Dr. Wells looked grim. They must have detected Lily's brain activity. They're looking for humans with active abilities. What do we do? Lily asked, suddenly afraid. Dr. Mason looked at her with serious eyes. We need to wake up your ability completely. It might be our only defense. Outside, the sound of explosions echoed across the mountains as the Vrul ships approached. The prison ship Vrul Dominance floated in the darkness of space near Saturn. Inside its cold metal walls, 50 human captives were connected to a massive machine. They lay in rows, thin tubes and wires attached to their heads. Sam Fuller pulled against the restraints holding him to the metal table. For 3 months he had been a prisoner here. Before his capture, he had been an engineer on Europa Colony, helping to build humanity's future in space. Now he was just another test subject for the Vrul. In the next cell, Sam could hear soft tapping on the wall. It was Zoe Barrett, another prisoner who had figured out how to communicate through the wall between them. They had developed a simple code, 1 tap for A, 2 for B, and so on. Today, Zoe tapped out slowly. Sam tapped back. Ready. They had been planning this for weeks. Each day, the V-Rule guards would take them to the main lab for testing. The aliens would connect their brains to machines and try to trigger whatever power they believed humans possessed. So far, the Vrul had failed. But in the process, Sam and Zoe had learned a lot about how the Vrul technology worked. The door to Sam's cell slid open. 2 Vrul guards entered. They looked like tall, thin humans, but with gray skin, no hair, and eyes that were completely black. They never spoke to the prisoners, only communicated with each other through strange clicking sounds. Sam didn't resist as they unstrapped him and led him to the lab. Today was different. Today, he and Zoe had a plan. The main lab was a large circular room. In the center stood a massive machine with dozens of connection points for the prisoners. Sam was strapped into his usual spot. Across the room, he saw Zoe being brought in. She gave him a small nod. A taller Vrul entered the room. The other Vrul seemed to treat this one with respect. Sam had nicknamed it the Doctor because it always oversaw the tests. The Doctor approached a control panel and began pressing buttons. Screens lit up around the room, showing images of the prisoner's brain activity. Sam felt the familiar cold sensation as the machine connected to his mind. Usually, Sam fought against the connection. But today, he did something different. Instead of resisting, he opened his mind to it. He let the machine in. Across the room, Zoe did the same thing. Their eyes met briefly before they both closed them to concentrate. The Vrul didn't understand what made humans special. But Sam and Zoe had figured it out by listening to the aliens' communications and studying the machines. Humans could connect their minds together. The Vrul technology was actually helping them do it. Sam reached out with his thoughts, searching for Zoe. At first, there was nothing but darkness. Then he felt something. A presence that wasn't his own. It was Zoe. And beyond her, he could sense other minds, all the prisoners connected to the machine. The Doctor noticed something unusual on the screens. The brain activity patterns were changing. The alien moved quickly to adjust controls, clicking loudly to the other Vrul in the room. But it was too late. Sam had connected with Zoe, and together, they were connecting with everyone else. 50 human minds joined together as one, not fighting against the Vrul technology but working through it. Far away near Europa, a small Earth rescue ship called the Defiance approached cautiously. Captain Ben Lewis watched the Vrul prison ship on his view screen. "Any sign they've spotted us?" he asked his crew. "No, sir," replied his sensor officer. "Our stealth systems are working, but I'm picking up strange energy readings from the prison ship. Something big is happening in there." Ben frowned. "Are they hurting the prisoners?" "I don't think so," the officer said. "These readings don't match any weapon signatures. It's more like, well, I've never seen anything like it. Prepare the rescue team," Ben ordered. "We're going in." Back on the prison ship, Sam felt his mind expanding as it joined with the others. He could sense their thoughts, their memories, their fears, and their hopes. Together they were becoming something new, something powerful. The Vrul machines began to spark and smoke. Alarms blared throughout the ship. The Doctor rushed from station to station trying to regain control. Inside Sam's mind, he saw something incredible. He could see the ship around him not with his eyes but with his thoughts. He could feel the metal walls, the electronic systems, the very atoms that made up everything. Now, he thought to the others, and as one, they pushed. Every Vrul on the ship suddenly collapsed, as if hit by an invisible wave. The restraints holding the prisoners snapped open. Doors throughout the ship unlocked. Systems reset themselves. Captain Ben Lewis and his rescue team breached the hull of the prison ship, weapons ready. But as they moved through the corridors, they found all the Vrul, guards unconscious on the floor. When they reached the main lab, they found a strange sight. 50 prisoners were standing free, gathered in a circle. Their eyes glowed with a soft blue light. Sam turned to look at the rescue team. When he spoke, his voice sounded different, deeper and with strange echoes, as if multiple people were speaking at once. "Captain Lewis," he said, "we've been expecting you." Ben lowered his weapon in shock. "How do you know my name?" "We know many things now," Sam replied, Zoe and the others nodding in agreement. "We've seen what the Vrul are planning. They have a much larger fleet heading for Earth. They want to capture more of us. especially the children with the strongest abilities. What happened to you? Ben asked. What did they do? They tried to force our minds to unlock our power, Zoe said, her voice also carrying the same strange echo. But instead, they helped us discover it for ourselves. We are connected now. We can see things, do things we never imagined. Sam stepped forward. We need to go now, Captain. We need to warn Earth. And we need to find the others like us, the ones with active abilities. Together, we might be able to stop the Vrul invasion. Ben nodded slowly, still trying to understand what he was seeing. My ship is ready. We can leave immediately. As they moved through the ship toward the rescue vessel, Sam explained what they had learned while connected to the Vrul machines. The Vrul had been studying humans for decades, secretly capturing people from remote outposts. They had discovered that human minds could affect reality itself when properly connected. The Vrul want to use us as weapons, Sam told Ben. They've built special ships with chambers for human captives. They plan to force us to destroy their enemies. But they don't understand what they've awakened. Ben looked at the glowing eyes of the former prisoners. And what exactly have they awakened? Sam smiled slightly. The very thing the Galactic Council feared. The reason they created the first law to begin with. Humans working together, minds linked, able to change reality itself. But we won't use it for destruction like the Vrul want. What will you use it for? Ben asked. To protect our people, Zoe answered. And to show the galaxy that the first law was wrong. Humans shouldn't have been hidden away and kept in the dark. We needed to understand our abilities to learn control, as though the Defiance detached from the prison ship and turned toward Earth. Sam looked out at the stars. For the first time, he felt like he could almost see the connections between all things, the invisible web that held the universe together. And he knew that the war for humanity's future was just beginning. The combined fleet of human and galactic council ships moved through space toward the Vrul homeworld. At the center of the formation was a new vessel called the Unity. It was built with both human and alien technology, and its crew was special, all former prisoners who had experienced the awakening of their mental powers. Admiral John Reeves stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Determination. Through the main view screen, he watched the stars streaking by as they traveled faster than light. Admiral, we're approaching Vrul space, his navigation officer reported. Their defense fleet has been detected. John nodded. This mission was humanity's biggest gamble. After the Vrul attack on Earth 3 months ago, everything had changed. The attack had been stopped, but only because Lily Bennett and the other descendants of the Proxima survivors had awakened their abilities at the last moment. Now Earth and the Galactic Council were taking the fight to the Vrul homeworld. They needed to end this war before the Vrul could build more of their special weapons, the ones that used captured humans as power sources. John opened a communication channel to the Unity. Sam, how are you and your people holding up? Sam Fuller's face appeared on screen. He looked calm but determined. The 50 former prisoners on the Unity had become Earth's most valuable asset. They could join their minds together in a way that no one else could. We're ready, Admiral, Sam replied. We can sense the Vrul ships ahead. They're deploying their weapons now, the ones built using human captives. John's tactical officer looked up from her screen. Sir, the Vrul fleet is moving to intercept us. Their ships are powering up what appear to be psionic amplifiers. John frowned. The Vrul had captured hundreds more humans during their attack on Earth. Now they were forcing those captives to use their mental powers as weapons. Sam, they're going to make those humans fight for them. Can you counter it? Sam's expression was serious but confident. We can do more than counter it, Admiral. We can free them. On the Unity, Sam returned to the special chamber at the center of the ship. Zoe Barrett and the other 48 crew members were already there, sitting in a circle. In the middle of the circle was a device that amplified their mental connection. Everyone ready? Sam asked as he took his place in the circle. Zoe nodded. The Vrul don't understand what they've done. They think they can control this power, but they can't. Everyone in the circle joined hands. They closed their eyes and focused their thoughts. The chamber filled with soft blue light as their minds connected. Sam felt his consciousness expand beyond his body. He could sense everyone in the circle, their thoughts becoming one with his. Then their awareness spread further, reaching out, through space toward the Vrul fleet. On the Determination, Admiral Reeves watched as the Vrul ships began to slow down. Their weapons, which had been powering up with an ominous glow, suddenly went dark. "What's happening?" he asked. "The Vrul ships are losing power," his tactical officer reported in amazement. "Their systems are shutting down one by one." On the Galactic Council observation vessel, Ambassador Ella Wright stood with Zontar, watching the battle unfold, or rather, not unfold. "This is what happened at Proxima, isn't it?" she asked the crystal being. "Humans joining their minds together, changing reality itself." "Yes," Zontar admitted, lights pulsing. "But at Proxima it was uncontrolled, born of fear and the instinct to survive. What we see now is different. Controlled, purposeful." "The first law was wrong," Ella said softly. "You shouldn't have kept us isolated. We needed to understand our abilities to learn control." Inside the mental link, Sam and the others reached out to the captive humans inside the Vrul weapons. They could feel their pain and fear. Many had been tortured, their minds forced to power the Vrul technology. "We're here," Sam projected to them. "You're not alone anymore." One by one, they connected with the captives, showing them how to free their minds from the Vrul control. As each human awakened, they joined the mental network, making it stronger. The eye effect spread through the Vrul fleet like a wave. Human captives everywhere began to break free of their restraints. The Vrul ships, dependent on human power, began to drift helplessly in space. In the command center of the Vrul mothership, the High Commander watched in horror as all his carefully built weapons failed at once. Screens around him showed humans, breaking free from their containment chambers throughout the fleet. "This is impossible," he hissed to his officers. "Increase the control signals, force them back into submission." But it was too late. The humans had found their connection to each other, and nothing the Vrul did could break it now. Sam's voice came through on all communication channels. "Vrul High Commander, your weapons have failed. Your prisoners are free. We offer you one chance to surrender." The High Commander snarled in anger. "Humans are tools, nothing more. We will never surrender to lesser beings." "Then you leave us no choice," Sam replied. Together, the linked human minds focused their power. They didn't destroy the Vrul ships as they could have. Instead, they disabled all weapons and propulsion systems, leaving the ships intact but helpless. Admiral Reeves watched in amazement as the entire Vrul fleet went dark. "All Vrul vessels disabled, sir," his tactical officer reported. "They're completely defenseless." "Begin rescue operations," John ordered. "Get all the human captives off those ships. Then we'll deal with the Vrul themselves." Hours later, when the last human had been rescued from the Vrul ships, representatives from Earth and the Galactic Council met with the Vrul leaders under heavy guard. Sam Fuller spoke for the humans. His eyes still glowed slightly blue from the mental connection he maintained with the others. "The quarantine of Earth is over," he told the assembled aliens. "And we propose a new first law. All sentient beings deserve knowledge of themselves and their place in the universe. No species should be hidden from the truth." The Vrul High Commander glared at him. "You think this is over? There are more of us across the galaxy. We will return." Sam smiled slightly. "We'll be waiting, and we'll be ready. But we don't want war. We want understanding." He turned to Zontar and the other council representatives. "What humans can do isn't a weapon to be feared, it's a bridge. We can connect minds across species, help everyone understand each other better." "What are you suggesting?" Zontar asked. "A new role for humans in the galaxy," Sam replied. "Not as weapons or threats, but as mediators, connectors. The thing that makes us dangerous is the same thing that makes us unique, our ability to reach out and touch other minds." As Sam spoke, the soft blue glow spread from his eyes to form a gentle aura around him. The other former prisoners joined him, each glowing with the same light. "The first law was broken," Sam said, "but maybe it needed to be broken for all of us to move forward together." Across the galaxy, the story spread. The humans hadn't just broken the first law, they had transcended it. They had shown that what made them dangerous also made them uniquely capable of building peace. The quarantine was lifted. A new era of cooperation began, and humanity took its place among the stars, not as a threat to be contained, but as the missing piece that could connect the diverse species of the universe together. The universe had its first law, but humanity had shown there was a greater law: understanding.